back to the Big Fun Show, brought to you here in New York City at YouTube headquarters. This is for 1 billion acts of peace. And today's guest, we have one of the greatest rock musicians of all time, a gentleman named Mick Collins. He's played with the Gories, a highly influential Detroit group that influenced so many garage acts, including White Stripes. He's the leader of the Dirt Bombs, another great band that you may be hearing more from. Mick is from Detroit, and we're going to talk to Mick a little bit about Detroit and his upbringing there. Mick.
Hi.
How are you today?
Terrific. Happy to be here.
You're looking good and healthy, and
Thank you.
glad to see you're here. You've met Dawn.
Of course.
Yes, and it's so great to see you. And I'm really glad that you're here because I really want to talk about Detroit. I mean, what people of Detroit have been through, but really it's like a people movement now. It's the artists and everybody else who's coming together to bring Detroit back. So I'd just love to hear what you think about what's happening there.
Well, I never feared that much when I lived in Detroit. You know, the random act of violence. I can't say you expect it, but you were always prepared for it. You were constantly on guard, no matter where you went or what you were doing. You were constantly on guard because at any given moment, somebody could try and roll you. And not to put too fine a point on it, but in New York, it's kind of the same thing. At least for me, I'm always on guard. You know, I'm always on the lookout for somebody who could be, in a dark corner somewhere waiting to roll me. My fears, like that was just a thing. I can't even call that fear. That was just, that's like the baseline level of being awake. Fear for me was much more the institutional variety. I was much more concerned about, growing up in the time period that I did. I was much more concerned about the Cold War. I harbored some real deep, existential terror about nuclear doomsday, which I think a lot of people my age did. We saw that film the day after, and it was kind of a big downer for everybody for a year. And that was just, and it's been said that, we're all terrible. We all have terrible spending habits and saving habits because we just didn't believe we were ever going to make it to be adults.
But talk about the difference. I think that's in so many communities around the U.S. right now, people are very sensitive to this issue that needs to be addressed and fixed, which is this violence from the police towards people of minority groups and who are about to become the majority of the country. And it's really wrong and it's really terrifying. And only now that we're capturing it on our cell phones.
I was just going to say, yes.
Talk more
The
about that.
one thing, technology has given us that. Like there was a time, now whenever anybody does anything, there's a better than 50% chance that there's someone with a camera trained on it, or there's a security camera trained on it, or there's somebody is watching and somebody is uploading it to the internet. And with and with the police and with the police, that is that was something that you have to be honest about it. They never thought about it that way. And now, that's sort of a blue line, the blue curtain that's there, it doesn't really exist anymore. And, because now whenever a cop does anything, there's 3 people with their cameras out, filming it. There's somebody around always now, and they can't get away. The bad cops can't get away with the stuff they used to get away with, and the good cops can't get away with not telling about it. They can't just let it slide now. And, on a larger level, this has made the police a little testy. So now, every encounter is almost every encounter with the police now is fraught with tension, just because, if you're actually doing something wrong, they have to be on their P's and Q's so it doesn't look like brutality. On the other hand, if they're doing something wrong, it's got to be, now it's a huge production number. I love how lately, they've been, again, something that has come up in notice among the larger population. Now that all these police departments are being forced to wear body cameras, now the issue is that those cameras never seem to be working when the cop is beating somebody in the head. The footage always seems to go missing at the proper point there, right? When they push the guy out on the train tracks, somehow the camera shorted out.
That's where the frustration, I think, comes in for so many people.
Yeah.
When the cops are caught red-handed,
Yeah.
beating the crap out of some black kid.
Right. And then they still walk.
And they still walk. It's like, what part of this can't you see? Try your good eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
But are you hopeful, or
Yeah.
are we gonna fix this? Do you have hope?
I think in the long term, it can only do good. And which was something that I probably wouldn't have said. And also, I'm a big privacy advocate. In terms of personal privacy and internet security, identity security. It seems to go against my personal feelings on the matter, but in the long term, I think in this specific context of police brutality, it can only do good. I think we're just in a really turbulent period right now because, the police are realizing that they're always on camera, and the people are realizing that they always have cameras. and so this is an issue right now, and it will sort itself out, I think, in a few years. I mean, I don't have an idea of how long, maybe 5 at the outside, but at some point this will shake out, and the police will be better for it, and we'll be a little safer from the less savory aspects of how this part of our culture.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It was great, and just for your support of our 1 Billion Acts of Peace campaign, and we're such big fans of yours, and we're just thrilled to be in friendship with you.
Well, thank you once again for being here at the Big Fun Show, brought to you by 1 Billion Acts of Peace, Peace Jam Foundation, and Mr. Mick Collins. You have a good week. Say goodnight, Bulgaria. I'll see you soon.